Good morning. Welcome to No Makeup Monday. It is Monday, September 18th at 7 a.m. my time. It is very early today. I feel like I need to have one of you volunteer to come over here and hold up my face. Yes. So anyway, in just a few moments, I'm going to be talking to you about the secret of a steadfast heart, and it's brutal today, so I'll tell you in a second. But before I get into that, I just wanted to introduce myself for those who don't know me. My name's Michelle Cushan. I'm a speaker and author and a communications consultant. And No Makeup Mondays is all about creating a safe space for honest conversation about the tensions between real faith and real life. This is pretty much sums up everything I do, everything, what I really believe God's called me to do. This is kind of my life mission. Good morning, Susan. Good to see you. So anyway, as you guys are popping on, just go ahead and you can click on the like buttons, the love buttons, wow buttons, the cryy face, whatever fits your mood today. It's all welcome here. So that lets me know that you're here and listening. Hi, Babette. And kind of just lets me know where you're at today. So do that. Also, I encourage you to leave a comment as I go through the next few minutes. Different things that I say, things you agree with, don't agree with, things that really hit you in a good spot. Hey, Julie. Things that you have questions about, things that you're not sure about, whatever it is, leave a comment below. I will see some of them as I go through the Facebook Live, but some of them I'll go back and look at once I post this, and I'll interact with them throughout the day. So it's so much more fun. Hey there, Nancy. It's so much fun when you guys leave comments, because then we're really having a conversation. That's my favorite part of this. I have no need to just listen to myself speak. So, so the more you guys share, the better. So anyway, it's somewhat shocking. I have to tell you, I almost backed out and didn't do this today, because the truth is, you ready for this? I can't believe I'm doing this. I have like massive bags under my eyes today because, hi there, Kimberly. Because yesterday I found out, this is kind of a big switch, so I'm sorry to make such a fast emotional switch, but yesterday I found out that one of my friends, or somebody I know, an acquaintance, had died over the weekend, and so it hit me hard. It hit me hard last night. I make no apologies about the fact that I am a very tender-hearted person. I feel things very deeply, which has its benefits, but let's just say it has its downside too. The biggest, or one of the biggest downsides, is the fact that everything I feel ends up all over my face. And because this is No Makeup Monday, I wasn't allowed to cover up all that loveliness this morning. So I have to be authentic to what I'm doing here. But so it's interesting. A few days ago, last week, I read Psalm 108. Psalm 108 verse 1 says this: "My heart, O God, is steadfast." That's only the first half of the verse. In fact, it's only the first third of the verse. And I couldn't even get past those words, because immediately something in my soul said, but what if it isn't? I read this, "My heart, O God, is steadfast," and immediately I thought, but it's not. I mean, there are a lot of days it's not. So what if it isn't? What do we do then? And I'm like, I love that David's heart feels steadfast the day that he wrote that, but that is not where I'm at. And that's precisely what I felt yesterday when I received news about my friend. This friend of mine is someone, I'll probably be blogging about it today, posting it tomorrow. So follow along on my blog and you can hear the whole story. But this was a young person, only 34 years old, somebody I've been praying for quite some time, and somebody who had a huge, massive ministry. And so there's all this tension around, literally thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people were praying for healing. So why? Why didn't healing come? And then I read this song, "My heart is steadfast," and I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, I don't feel steadfast at this moment. Good morning, Linda. And so what do we do with that? How do we get to a place? Because I know that God wants us to live in a place of security and confidence, but what do we do when it's not there? And so I got out, it's right over here, I got out my Keyword Study Bible, which is a total geek nerd Bible, but it has the Hebrew and the Greek in it for it's basically, I view it like the Idiot's Guide to Greek and Hebrew. So I'm no scholar. So this is, it's like an easy version for somebody like me to understand what this is all about. And so I decided just to unpack those 4 words. My heart is steadfast. And the word for heart is the word leb, L-E-B. And it just means the center of something, the center of man's immaterial nature. So it's not your physical heart, but really the center of who you are, right? And so that's what I want to be steadfast. And then the word steadfast comes from the word kun, K-U-N. And it means to be firm, established, the center, to be firm, established, be faithful, sure, reliable. But at the end, it also has this definition, to be prepared and determined. So that implies there's something a little bit more proactive about it. It's not purely a reactive or responsive feeling, but to be steadfast, to be prepared, determined, firm, established, implies that there's something more intentional, proactive versus us simply responding to emotion and feeling. So then I go ahead to verse 4 in Psalm 108, and David goes on to say, for great is your love, higher than the heavens, your faithfulness reaches to the sky. And the word for love there is the word hesed, H-E-S-E-D, which is one of the most important words in all of the Old Testament. And it is literally God's tender kindness, merciful, compassionate love. It's this powerful word of love and that's wrapped in mercy, this gracious mercy. Hesed, again, is one of the most important words in the Old Testament, and it's a word that's generally reserved to be used between close friends. So to talk about God's hesed, the fact that his affection for us is tender, bathed in mercy, and it's reserved for close friends, which what does that say about us? All right, so David is saying, my heart is steadfast, but it's not steadfast just because he's automatically feeling that way. It's steadfast because in verse 4 he says for, which is a relational word. It's connecting verse 4 to verse 1. For great is your hesed. Great is your tenderness, your mercy, your kindness, your compassion. And so his steadfastness is directly related not to just his emotion, but the reality of God's hesed. And so after I read that, I also went ahead to Psalm 112, which is just a page over in my Bible. But in Psalm 112:17, the idea of steadfastness is mentioned again. Now, one thing that I've talked about in my book, I Am, and I've talked about this in blogs and speaking all the time, is that in order to be steadfast, you and I have to be attached to something greater than, bigger than, stronger than ourselves. If we attach to ourselves, then we are only as strong as we are at any given moment. And I don't know about you, but my sense of strength can change 100 times in a single day. So if I am only attached to my ability to control, my ability to feel good, my ability to be strong, my ability to be capable and hardworking and whatever, then my sense of steadfastness will only extend as far as what I feel in any given moment. However, just like in a house has to be built on a foundation or a tree is rooted to the ground, to be truly steadfast, to be unshakable, we must be attached to something bigger and stronger than ourselves. Okay, so Psalm 112. In Psalm 112, verse 8, well, I'm going to read 7 and 8. This is one's highlighted in my Bible and dated multiple times. They will have no fear of bad news. Their hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord. Their hearts are secure. They will have no fear. In the end, they will look in triumph on their foes. Okay, so that's Psalm 112, verse 7 and 8. Now, therein, they will have no fear of bad news. Their hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord. The word trusting there, I looked that one. That's the last one I looked up, and it comes from the word beta. I'm probably mispronouncing it, so you scholars can correct me. But it's B-A-T-A-H, and this is what it means. You ready? Beta means to attach oneself, to confide in, to be safe, confident, secure. It's confident expectation. But did you hear that first part? It's to attach oneself. It's to attach oneself. So the heart is steadfast, trusting in the Lord. The heart is steadfast. You and I, the secret to being steadfast is to attach ourselves. To attach ourselves to the hesed of God, the faithfulness of God, the tenderness of God, the mercy of God. That supersedes any circumstance. That supersedes even our questions. Like my questions about why God didn't heal my friend. Why my 34-year-old brother who was doing powerful ministry. I mean, he was sharing the gospel with just thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. Why God wouldn't heal him? Well, if I focus on only the circumstance and my inability to alter it, I will be anything but steadfast. However, if I attach myself to the character of God, to his hesed, his long history of tenderness and mercy and compassion and kindness, that even when I don't understand what he does, and even when circumstances don't make sense, I will be secure. That doesn't mean I won't grieve. And let me tell you, I felt massive grief last night, and I woke up this morning with kind of a grief hangover, frankly. So yes, like I said, I need one of you to volunteer to hold up my face. I mean, it's just, I'm feeling it. Those of us who have faced death, and those of us who know that death kind of hovers on the fringes of our life at all times, it hits us hard. Because it's not just something that happens to other people, it's something that happens to us. And so we feel these things differently. And so this morning, I'm having to remind myself again that if I want to be steadfast, I need to attach myself to something bigger and stronger and greater than my capacity to understand. There has to be something bigger. And if I'm going to be steadfast, I'm going to put my trust in the Lord. I'm going to attach myself to the hesed of God. Oh man, I'm telling you guys, there are times that I think I should be funnier. I should be more lighthearted, but this is real life. This is real hard life, and I'm not trying to be a big heavy downer, but I'm just trying to. Man, this is what we deal with day after day, right? This is the reality for us, and so if we can find a way to bring some peace and truth to the hardness of life, to the reality of life's difficulty, then, oh man, that's a beautiful thing. And then joy and humor comes once we can find that place of peace. So anyway, this is what I want you to do moving forward this week, because you know I always challenge you to do something. One, I want you to start a conversation with one person. And maybe it's somebody that you run into that appears to not be feeling very steadfast or feels insecure. I simply want you to start a conversation. I don't want you to preach at them. I want you to be curious, ask questions. And it can be as simple as starting a conversation about this by saying, what makes you feel absolutely secure? Where do you find security? What makes you feel steadfast? And just start a conversation about that. I think it'll be interesting. Pay attention to the things that people lean on to feel secure. And I think you'll find in many cases the things that we rely on to bring us security are anything but secure. Because remember, and I've said this many times, if you can lose it, it's not who you are. It's not solid ground. And then second, so here's your second action. Starting October 2nd, I'm starting an online study of the book I Am. It's called the I Am Online Experience. It's a 6-week study of the book I Am. We're going to be having conversations like this one for 6 weeks. And you can sign up at my website. It's at michellekashat.com. In fact, I might be able to, let's see if I can switch the video around. No, I cannot, because I'm just not cool enough to figure it out right now. So here, look at this. You ready? There's my website. So if you go to my website, you can sign up for the online study right there. It's free, and we're going to be having lots of honest conversation like this, as well as Facebook Live. 2 a week going through this study, and I would love to do it together. I'm looking forward to it. What God is going to do by us just being really honest and real about the source of our security. Because ultimately we need to know that we're enough because He is enough. Who we are is based on who He is. All right, friends. Have a wonderful week. Even though you're going to have some hard moments. I mean, it's just truth. There are going to be some hard moments. Attach yourself to the Hesed of God. And then even when you grieve, even when you have tears, even when it's hard, you will be secure. I love you. I'm so thankful for you in my life. See you next week.